Hello, good evening, welcome. My name is Kwabena. I want to share with you today. Don't live in fear. Don't live in fear. Earlier, I was trying to do it, but the network was not good. So, hopefully, the network will be good this time. The environment that we were born in, the culture that we grew up in, the belief system that we had when we were growing up, the ideologies that were given to us, the conditioning of the mind that we had, they have a lot to do with how another person or an institution or a group of people can control us. So if you program, if you train, they say that they can train a dog to behave in a particular way. And so whatever they put in that dog, if they do something, the dog will respond to that. I don't think humans are a bit far from that. I think humans can also be trained in a way like that. So you can be conditioned over a long period with some ideas, with some beliefs, with some philosophies that at a point, if they say anything, you respond out of that program. So humans naturally are just product of their programming. So if you're fortunate and you're programming that you were exposed to the culture, the education, the religion, the politics, all those, if you're fortunate and those things favored productivity and increase in success, then you will succeed. If you are not fortunate and you are programmed like you see in most African cultures and most African countries, you were programmed unfortunately not to succeed readily like that. We may have to develop a lot of philosophies against what we were taught, to build something by ourselves. So if you look at, if my assumption is wrong, okay, let's look at our environment and let's look at how people behave, people respond to situations of life. And you may, in a way, agree with me that there is a lot to do with the programming that we have had. So I'm talking about don't live in fear. And this is what I mean by don't live in fear. People can be programmed to live in fear all their life and they will not even know it. You can be programmed to live in fear all your life, and it will show in your response, the responses that you have to life issues, and the way you feel powerless or caged when it comes to things that you have to decide with your life. So people have been told to be, fearful of life, of death. People have been told to be afraid of, failing. People have been told to, be afraid of poverty. Nobody wants to be poor. And most people don't want problems, no? They're afraid of problems. They're afraid of challenges. They're afraid of things that make them inconvenient. Some people, the religion, they have also told us that there are certain things that we do. If you want to go to heaven, we don't do them. So somebody can control a whole group of people just by the idea that if you do this, you won't go to heaven, or if you do this, you will go to heaven. And people are also afraid of disagreement and sickness. A lot of people are afraid of accident. So when you pick car from here to Kumasi, you are in Accra, you want to go to Kumasi, you see that you have about there is somebody who will come and open the Bible and pray for you and say that God will protect you so that you get to Kumasi. And they have done that for a lot of the time. And yet when we take the plane and we are going to America, nobody prays for us, and yet we get there. So there is a lot of philosophies that they have built on a lot of these things. People are afraid not to, win with their family, with their marriage lives. They are afraid. They are fearful. Some people are even tuned to be afraid of their extended family. Some people cannot even go to their village because they believe that there are demons there, there are ancestral curses. Some people, when they are not even succeeding with what they do, the content of the knowledge that they have given us is that there's a familiar spirit, there's a familiar curse. There are things they use like that. Some people believe that in their family they will not succeed in this particular kind of career. So people nobody wants to fail in life. And If you look at all these people who tell us this, you don't want to die, and some people will even come out. They are preachers, they are pastors, some of them are malams, some of them are anything, and they come out to tell you these things. And so people follow them. They don't want to die, so they give you prophecy. They say that they had a dream somewhere and they saw you dead, so they want to pray for you so that they can avert the situation. Some people will tell you that I've tried a lot of the things, my business, I've gone through so many problems, and there is a demon somewhere. and most people who come up with such things tell you that they are the ones who have power to give you the solutions. So they have to pray for you, they have to declare some fasting for you. They do all this because it's easier for us to believe that we are incapable of having control over a lot of these things. So death, failure, poverty, problems, disagreement, sicknesses, accidents, career success, business failure, those things, they have told us that there is a particular way that if you agree with them, you succeed. Now, if these things were true, and if they were absolute, then everybody who has ever lived anywhere in the world should have come to those people. If they have the power to prevent you from dying, or prevent you from not getting sickness or failure, or or the accidents, or prevent the marriage things from going wrong, then they should be the one responsible for everyone who has been successful in a business, in a family life, in who is healthy. They do this because of our understanding or the quality of knowledge that we have in our country, on the continent. So they have the advantage of us growing up with a lot of these things that we have not questioned. It's not that human being can just die. It's never true that you are just there and nothing just happened and you just had an accident. There's always some cause to something. But they can create fear in you that, okay, maybe you don't have money, or you have money problems, money issues, or your business is suffering. It's not that there is a demon somewhere that is responsible for the business to fail. But they have that advantage to call you to say that, the business that you've been trying to do for the last 3 years that you're not succeeding, there's something somewhere that if I pray for you, the business will succeed. If I put some oil on you, the business will succeed. If I give you some water to drink, the business will succeed. If you bring this money and do this for you, the business will succeed. Or you see your marriage, you are going through a lot of trouble, and I do this for you, you will succeed. They have the advantage for us to listen to them because those are the things that we grew up with. But very few of us question this, that are these things true? Are these things absolute? Do they really apply? Because if they apply, then if you go to Korea, you should see the same thing. If you go to America, you should see the same thing. The topmost business people should be people who should be going after these people. So there will be the prophets, there will be the pastors, there will be the evangelists, there will be the malams who are giving direction to most of these top work business people. But if you look at it, it's not like that. Some people in Japan have lived 100 years and they were not told, they were not prayed for by these people. They were not given directions by these people. Somebody in Germany is doing successful business without listening to all this. So the advantage they have is the errors in the culture that we grew up in. And see, they have reduced a lot of people to virtually the level of animals. Said that once they try to control you with these fears, the fear of death, the fear of accident, the fear of divorce, the fear of you not succeeding in your business, once they're able to inject some level of persuasion, some level of knowledge into you, and you listen to them, all your life you will live according to the height that they set for you. All your life you will live according to the height that they set for you. And that is the problem that I see in Africa. So those who are promoting these so-called doctrines themselves may not know the damage that they are doing to the population, to their own citizens. And some of them just happen by default to take advantage of the desperations of the people. Most of the people live in lack. Most of the people are not that much enlightened, even though some of them may have gone to school, but they are not much enlightened when it comes to what it takes for people to be successful in this life, for people to live, their visions, their dreams, their goals. They take advantage of us because they know that we are limited in exposure, we are limited in knowledge, we are limited in understanding. And you see, they have conditioned us to be selfish. Because all these things that I talked about, the fear of death, the fear of accident, the fear of disagreement with people, you becoming poor, not getting a job, not getting a wife, not succeeding in whatever you pursue, somebody in your village trying to kill you, they are all linked to you. All these things, they are linked to you. So because you are selfish, or because we are self-focused, they can easily get our attention. So it's a program. And you can control anybody in this life when the level of knowledge that comes to them is sieved. It's sieved. So you see that fear is a product of ignorance. And ignorance is really lack of light, lack of knowledge. So people are ignorant because they don't know. They don't know that they have the power to control what happens to them. You can't just jump tomorrow and you're dead. You can't just jump tomorrow and your marriage is dissolved. You can't just, your business will not just collapse tomorrow just because there's a demon somewhere who is coming after you. So these are just belief systems that they have put in us. And they benefit that because of the quality of knowledge that we have, the quality of understanding that we have. And so if you live in an environment, if you live in a community, if you live, let's say all my life, if I happen to live in a village, I never went anywhere, all my belief system is coming from that village. Unless somebody else comes to show me that, listen, you can do more than what you have been told, and there is more to life than what they have told you, you will believe that everything that you know in that village is all that there is in this world. And that is really not the truth. It's only your world that knows that because of what you were exposed to. And so the quality of knowledge that we get, the light, the intensity of the knowledge that we get, is the intensity of the light that we get to have. And the more light you have, the more you can see. The more light you have, the more knowledge that you can have. The more knowledge you have, the more you can see and understand the situations of life. And so if anybody at all is controlling your life by, you see all these guys going around, sometimes you are just in your car, somebody will just bump into you and start to talk to you that God told him this, God told him that. Those are all lies. And sometimes it's not just the people who are moving around. Sometimes the people who have built churches, controlling all our people. And so people are just, so Saturday morning, they are praying in church that they will be rich. That's a lie. They are praying that they will not be poor. They have been programmed. So some of them will go to Achimota Forest from Monday to Saturday praying. And most of the prayers that they do is what? It's about their marriage. It's about their car. It's about visa to America. It's about getting another contract. It's about what? It's about all, not getting accident, not dying early. All those. They're just about themselves. And yet people have lived successfully far more than what they are telling us without going through these things. Because the African is only exposed to a certain level of knowledge. And that's why if you look at the environment of the African, you still see that there's a lot that we have to do. And it's so difficult for you to break these things down to the African to say that there is more to life than what people are trying to control. And if you want to succeed, it will depend on the amount of intensity of light that you have, your understanding of life, the wisdom that you have, the knowledge that you have, the things that you know that produce results. And this is very difficult. That's why people are declaring fasting and prayer because they want to get a contract, because they want to win that election. They go to the Mala. This is the culture that we have lived in for the last 500 or 1,000, whatever years that we have had. And the modern society is still going. That's why you meet a young boy who believes that he has to go and do some kind of juju so that he can succeed, so that he can get money. The boy is not coming to his mind that if I want to get money, I may be able to build a business and do it well, work diligently, put my time into it, develop the structures, develop the character so that I will succeed. Most of them, they even have business is working. And the next minute they are going to somebody who says that he's a pastor for him to give him some anointing water somewhere, pour on him so that he will become successful. Now, if you look at major companies in our country now, I don't know how many of them are taking anointing water or anointing oil or something to put on their business, so that, because there are major companies in Ghana. I don't see Barclays Bank doing it. I don't see Stanbic Bank going around going for prayers so that their business will succeed. I don't see ShopRite doing it. Major multinationals are successful because they are applying principles. They have a higher level of understanding of how things are done. And then the little businesses that we have here, once you get some little contract, the people will come and pray and prophesy and tell you all kind of things because of the way, the light, the level of light that we have, the level of understanding that we have. Is breaking and is killing and is making a lot of people poor because they have programmed us to live out of fear. And fear, when you have a lot of fear, it means that you are just selfish. Because light, the light that comes, makes you not to look only towards yourself. It's not that a lot of the things, people would have to know that they have power to decide a lot of things when it comes to this life. How much of financial knowledge that do we know? How much organization do we have in our economy? You said that you want to build companies. How much have you studied yourself about how a company is built? How much have you studied in terms of the stages? How much do you know how an idea is tested and modeled so that you will know? Most people you go around the world who are doing business incubation seminars, who have done studies on how the entrepreneurship part or the business development part is, they don't go to pray. They are not waiting for God to help their business to succeed because they believe that they have the understanding, they have the wisdom, they have the technical know-how, and if it beats them, they know that somebody else has done it. Now we, instead of us using the spirituality to bring others to Christ, we are rather turn the spirituality for our benefit. And that's why it is not working. So the gospel, they say that the gospel is the power of God unto salvation. The power is to bring people to Christ. The power is not to make your business work. It's not to make you not to be poor or not to be sick. That's not the power per se. If you see, do you think that Apostle Paul was going around everywhere trying not to get accident and crying to God so that he will not get sick or not be ostracized or his business will collapse? No. He knew that he had the understanding and the esteem and the power to create things for himself. That's the courage that he had. Now, the people that we have here who are calling on the name of God is so amazing. And I think that is one of the major threats why Africa is going to struggle in terms of innovation, in terms of creativity, in terms of building success and prosperity, large-scale prosperity. Because people's only understanding of how to build wealth is go to some prophet so that he prays for you. And we have turned the so-called gospel down. You've turned it. And now if you go anywhere, any little boy somewhere who was confused, who didn't know what to do with his life, now he's a pastor and he's trying to prophesy to you what you become in the next 3 years. You don't need anybody to tell you what you become in the next 3 years. Just increase in your wisdom, increase your knowledge, increase in your understanding, have a focus on what you're doing and study it well. The people who control billions in the world are not people who are going after all these guys for them to tell them what they will become. You know why we follow them? Because of the level of content that we have, the level of knowledge that we have. You can only keep the fear. You can keep a slave, as long as the slave is ignorant. And so they are keeping a lot of our people in slavery. The African slavery happened to him from 1611 coming. And when they had independence out, now the slavery has come in another form. And part of it is what? Is the religion. So they are controlling people. Sometimes you see people and you talk to them and like, wow, why have they controlled all of us like that? Because the seed was in us. That seed of ignorance was in us. That seed of wanting, because when people are desperate and they don't know what to do, you see, they are poor. One, they are poor. And two, they are ignorant. The poverty is out of the ignorance. Now they are looking for solutions. And so if you tell him that, listen, break this thing, I'll pray for you, and the next minute you will succeed, he will believe it. Because the level of understanding, the level of knowledge, the level of wisdom is low, that's all he believes in. He believes that for him to succeed, somebody would have to just pray for him. Somebody would have to just declare for him. Somebody would just have to have some. And this is how they have turned the people into. They have turned the people in. If they don't believe that they have power to create the future that they can create. They don't believe that they have the wisdom to create the future that they can create. They don't believe that they have the ability to solve problems. You know, so you meet some graduate, he has finished school, he has looked for job, 3 places, 4 places, they are not taking him. The next minute he goes to another church, you see somebody call him, gentleman, come. There is somebody in your village, there is somebody in your family, there is somebody in your mother's house who is making sure that you never get a job. And that boy, because of the quality of knowledge that he has, will believe that. Out of the culture that he has lived in. It's amazing. It's amazing. So the fear factor, don't live in fear. And don't let anybody control your life by the Bible or by the name of God. Nobody has the power to control you. Nobody, no matter who their name is, nobody. If they had the power to control you, then when you die and there's judgment, they should come and respond in your place. But if there is judgment, and if God will ask you a question, then he has given us the power to create the life that we have to create ourselves. And so I think that the way, just as we have missed a lot of things, we have missed this one too. So people are afraid of death. People are afraid of failure. People feel incapacitated when it comes to solving problems. And so they meet one challenge and they fail. They meet one challenge, they meet another challenge. The next time they're looking for somebody to pray for them, so there will not be any challenge. But if you're going to do anything with your life, there will be challenge. If it has to do with you getting goals, getting money, getting anything, there will be challenge. So why should another man take advantage of you, of the processes that you have to go through to become something? Because most people who have built billion companies, people who control serious wealth, have done that not because of this kind of understanding of philosophies, that like the way they have told us here. They have told us that you should never meet any problem at all. And we so believe in it. People really live in fear. You try to just sit in any car anywhere, take trotro from Carnation to Circle. Somebody somewhere whose Bible cannot even buy Bible will come and tell you why somebody is after you. And it's so rampant and it's not regulated, and they have conditioned the people. So people are helpless. And that's why we believe that once we go to church and they pray for us, we'll be successful. That's a lie. You're going to be successful out of your diligence, out of your focus, out of the skills that you're developing. If you focus on anything and you study it and you increase in knowledge, you increase in understanding, you focus on it, you develop yourself, you will succeed. Give yourself time. But people will not put that pressure. People will not put that intensity. People will just wait for magic to happen. And that magic never happens. That's why when you look around the economy, you see that it's the foreigners who are controlling the economy. Why? Because the foreigners are not in church praying for money. They are working. And that's the law of nature. If you focus on it and you work, you succeed. But how do you break this kind of error from the mind of the African? It's amazing. That error will never go readily, because they were told right from the start, when we just started to understand life, they put those things in us. They put those things in us right from the way we started life. And because people love God, and because people believe in some superior power somewhere, if anybody comes in the name of that God, even if they are wrong, we listen to them. We listen to them. Even if they are wrong. And now if you look at the results that Africa is producing, a lot of what they are telling us, we need to question them again. A lot of what they are telling us, we need to question them again. Because they are saying that God has given you the power to create wealth. They have told you that for 20 years now. And you look around and there's no wealth. You only believe that when you're in church and they're saying amen, and you say amen. But they did not teach you the procedures, because the intensity of the knowledge that they gave you was weak. You know why? Because most of them are also coming from the same background, so the same letter understanding. Now, some of them may look like they are big, they have a lot of following, but test the knowledge, test the results that we are getting out of the knowledge that they have given us. They have turned a lot of our people, they live out of fear. People live out of fear. They are afraid that they will die the next day. The devil has power to kill them. That's why they are looking for somebody to pray for them every day. Look, open to any radio. Open to any radio anywhere in the morning around 4. And somebody else is trying to tell them about demon, about why they have the power to pray for them so that they will not die, so that they will be rich, they will go to the embassy and get the visa. So they have taken the spirit, the self-assertiveness out of the people. And it doesn't matter who they are. Let's look at the results that we are producing. Young men who have not tried anything, just open the Bible and start a church. And the next time you go there, you don't go there with car and wear nice suit. They will call you and start to talk to you. It's amazing. And because we believe in God, we just go there and you are sober. Somebody who cannot even put food on his table is carrying oil, and they want to tell you that he will pray for you so that you become rich. Now, if that person has that power, why is he poor? And so the fear has numbed our ability to think. The fear that they have programmed us has numbed our ability to think, our ability to look at situations critically and question. Because anybody who comes in the name of God is wise, has power to liberate you, has power to curse you so that your marriage will not fail, have power to pray for you so that you not get accident. They have power to break familiar spirit and family curses. They have power to make you successful in your career. Those are lies. Those are lies. People have succeeded in this world. Big, major success. Who prayed for Bill Gates? Who prayed for Dangote? Who prayed for all these big guys who are running millions of dollars, of cities in their businesses, and most of them don't even call the name of God. What do they know? It's the things that they know that are responsible for the success that they are getting. They are not the ones who are afraid that the business that they are going to do is going to fail. They don't believe in that. They believe that if they meet failure, they will fight back and win. That is their conviction. They believe that they have the power to create the next product that will change everything, that everything that people know about that product. They believe that they have the passion to create the best of product for people. And so you will not get to those people trying to tell them that, listen, your business is going through problem, so come so that I can pray for you. They are not those people. It's just the little ones who have some government connection contract, and if they see you with some 1,000 or 1 million contract, they will give all kind of prophecies for you. Meanwhile, the guy even went to do some connections to have the contract. And now you see them somewhere trying to pray, to declare, and they control the people so much. Why? Because the people's light is weak. The people's knowledge is weak. Because when you are born into something, you had no hand into it. You were just born and you were told that you can just die anyhow. You were told that you can fail and you have to be afraid of failing. You don't want to be poor. They told you that problems are from the devil. They told you that if you don't take care, you will not go to heaven. They told you that don't become controversial. They told you that the next minute any sickness from anywhere can affect you. There is always a cause and effect. Don't live your life as if you have no power to predict your future, as if you have no power to control what happens to you. Then why did we come to this world in the first place? No. There are a lot of things that are within our control. We're not just going to die. Diseases come for a reason. There was a lifestyle. There was a pattern. Something happened somewhere. That's why that disease came. The accident happened for a reason. There's something that happened. It's not just that there's a devil somewhere who can just jump tomorrow and just kill everybody. Then the devil is he only in Africa or is around the world? Because the way I see it, if the devil is that powerful, why is he not killing all the Chinese? Because after all, they don't have the power of God. Why is the devil not killing everybody in Japan? But those of us who are here, who are even calling on the name of Jesus, we are the ones that the devil is trying to kill. It's a wrong perception, because things don't just happen like that. You're not just getting up tomorrow and you just sit in the car. You are driving perfectly. You are following the rules. You are following the road signs. The road is well. You are not tired, and you just get accident and die. No. Sometimes the people are tired. Sometimes the car is bad. Sometimes it's over speeding. Sometimes the person drank. These are the things that cause accidents. If your business is suffering, it's not just because you start a business and it suffers. What was your understanding of the finances, of the people, of the industry that you operated in? What were the skills that you had? What are the management skills that you have? What is your understanding of the economy? There are a lot of things that can get done rightly if you have the right expertise, the right wisdom, the right knowledge, the right understanding of how things are done. And so if the marriage is not working, it's not the devil trying to kill your marriage. This is how they have told us. And so people don't even go for anything to improve themselves. They don't. They live their life. The level of knowledge that they had 10 years ago is the same knowledge that they have. Why? Because they are not responsible for anything. Anything at all can happen to them. It's because of the programming. And so don't decide to live your life in fear. In fear of just dying the next minute. Of you that when you try anything, you can just fail anyhow. Of you becoming poor because some pastor somewhere would have to pray for you so that you become rich. That any sickness at all can happen to you. That the family you have can just disperse anyhow. As if there's no power of quality decision, of quality choices. These things is only the Africans who are defending this pattern of thought. And that's why we have the results that we have. That's why we have the results that we have. I don't believe that you just jump tomorrow and you're dead. I don't believe it. There are consequences. My lifestyle, my decisions, my choices will show whether I will be hurt or I will not be hurt. Whether I will die if I had to I happened to be at that place at that time. That's why that thing happened. So if I had better knowledge, I would not be there. Your business cannot just collapse just because somebody somewhere just collapsed it. No, it's not that there's a devil somewhere. It's just bad decisions, bad choices, inaccurate choices. That's why things just happen to us like that. So they have told us, and that's why people are going for all night, every day, going for prayers, going from one camp to the other, going here. And what do they go for? So that they will not die, so that they will get good marriage, so that they will get visa to America, so that their business will succeed, so that they will, those things that are only focused on them. And the thing is that if the thing has to do with you, you have the power to create it. You don't need another mind to just declare so that you succeed. If they had that power, then everybody in the world, they should have declared for them to succeed. And so far, the people that they are even declaring that they will become rich, they are not rich. Here, they are not the richest in the society. They are not the richest in the economy. Why? Because success, financial success, follows productivity. They follow business. They follow things that you do to serve many people. And we have to question some of these things because the programming now it has become disastrous. And that's why it is affecting all the environment. That's why you see the boy who becomes an arm robber, picks a gun. Because he doesn't believe that he can build himself one stage the other to become successful. So he believes in instant. Now, he is bold enough to pick a gun. But the others are not bold to pick a gun. So that's why they are running from one pastor to the other for them to pray for them so that they will become successful. Success is a product of wisdom. Success is a product of love. It's a product of understanding. It's a product of knowledge. It's a product of diligence. It's a product of the intensity of light that we have. And this is the knowledge that they should have told us when we were 2 years, when we were 3 years, when we were 4 years, when we were 5 years, that we were in charge of a lot of things that happened to us. And if we're in charge of a lot of things that happen to us in our personal life, then we will be in charge of a lot of things that happen in the development of a company or of a family or of a country even. The same wrong understanding that we have at the personal level, that we are looking for somebody to declare something so that it will happen to us. The same is the way that the country has been run. So we don't believe that the choices of the leaders or the leadership or the citizens are reflecting the status of the country. No. We believe there's some demon somewhere or God will just come and the country will develop one day. That is not going to happen. Development is consistent quality decisions and choices and implementations of those quality decisions and choices. You know, so if you're an African, I'm sorry, but that is how they have programmed us. Not you alone, not me alone, all of us. So they program us, and therefore we are very much afraid. All our lives, those are the choices. All our lives, look at it. All lives, we are just, a lot of people live in perpetual fear of failing. They don't want to fail. Of getting sickness. They even tell you nobody knows tomorrow. You know, those are the things that they tell us. They tell us that marriage, you can just collapse the next day. They tell us that familiar spirit somewhere, some demon from your father's family is responsible for all the struggles that you are having. No. What is responsible for the struggles that you're having is the quality of knowledge. Because you so believe that the knowledge that they told you works. That knowledge is not working. That's why we have the results that we have. If we get better teacher, if we get better exposure, if we get better understanding, and we work diligently, the situation will change. Because people have done it, not only in Africa, people have done it in everywhere around the world. It's only the Africans who believe that something somewhere supernaturally would have to happen to them so that their life will change. And so far, it's not true. It's not working. It's not consistent. It's not widespread. And if it's true and it's working, it should apply everywhere. It should apply in Ghana, it should apply in America, it should apply in England, it should apply in China, it should apply in everywhere around the world. So stop following and stop living as if you're helpless. Stop living as if you don't have any power at all. Stop living as if you can just jump and die the next day. And the moment they know that they say something like that and you follow it, that is the end of your life. Every day they will find something to tell you. Every day they will find something to tell you. And they mention the name of God, that God told me to tell you this. And that God, he doesn't love you enough to tell you directly. People have lived 100 years and they don't even know this God that we call because of the choices that they made. They look at their food, they look at the way they drive, they look at the way they live, they look at the air they breathe, the water they, and they have lived. But we just do things anyhow. Let's track the food that we eat. Let's track the chicken that we eat. Where is it coming from? Let's track the quality of water that we drink all the time. Let's track the environment. Somebody just gather some polythene somewhere and just put fire on it, and it will burn up for the next 2 hours. This is the environment that we live in. And so when people die and people get cancer, it's not the devil. Those are the reflections of our choices and decisions, our organization. So a lot of things can be interpreted. A lot of things can be understood if Africans will live there and stop following some of these guys who are just trying to use God and religion to control everything that we do. Everything that we do. So you are just working hard so that your business will become successful, and the next minute you see that somebody come to say that God told me that this, if you don't give me this kind of money, your business is not going to succeed. It's not true, because they have turned the God into a commodity, and their livelihood is on that. A lot of them, their livelihood is on selling God and the Bible and the religious components as a commodity. And so the more they get the people who they can put this fear in them, who would depend on them for the solutions. You see, the problem was not there. They put the problem there and they tell you that they have the solution. And so you continue to go to them all the time. And yet you didn't have that problem. And they have to do that for a lot of people so that they can get... It's all about the money. A lot of these people are just about the money. Just about the money. So they have to create the fear of death in your life. They have to create the fear of failure in your life. They have to create the fear of problems. You don't want it. People can cry. You have married and you have no child. And you think that that's a problem. And then you are crying, and you go there and they give you this and they declare this for you. And why? Why can't you say that if I don't have a baby, what is the big deal? They create problems and they condition you so that you continue to depend on them. And that's slavery. Some of them will even tell you that no matter what you're doing on this earth, you have to make sure that you go to heaven. As if the heaven is work. I thought that the heaven was the fact that you believe in Christ. And then when you believe in him, he moved you from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light. I thought that was it. Now, no. They even tell you that you have to go and win souls, and if you don't go and win souls, you'll not go to heaven. They teach all kind of things just to control us. And I can see people live in trauma, people live in frustration all over Africa. All over Africa. They will not even leave you to control your money. They will not even leave you to control your time. They take care of your time, they take care of your money, and they are able to do that because of the fear they have put in you. And they know, some of them even tell us not to read any book apart from their book that they have written. Not to listen to anybody apart from them. It's amazing. And that's how you keep a slave. That's how you keep the slave. And you can be there and you may not even know it, and you may challenge, you may defend it. All of us has the power. All of us have the power. Every one of us has the power to create the life that we want. And we are responsible only to God. And so the fear that they are creating, you will get accident, you will die, familiar spirit, that's why you are not succeeding. All those are not true. Then why did Jesus come to die? So one of the major things that they are controlling the Africans. The slavery happened and it went. But now the slavery is the religion that they have promulgated all across the continent of Africa. All across the continent. And a part of it, major part of it, is linked to the fact that those who are even teaching this, they may not even know the consequences. They may have also been born into the same kind of error. And so they also teach the same thing, thinking that they are doing the work of God. But then we look at the results now, and you see that the people are living in fear. People are living. You can see people, you see on their faces that these people just live in ignorance, live in fear. They are praying for you, you'll be rich in the name of Jesus. Amen. You'll be rich. The wealth is not going. They have told you for 15 years. Have you had the money? No, because that's no way we are going to be rich. It's just a way of just telling you to feed on them. The agenda is for you to be bringing this the offering all the time. So they have to pray for you. They have to declare. Some of them will tell you that, I even prayed, I saw accident, and you were going to die, and took it off from you. They have killed us. They have wasted our time. They have pushed a lot of errors on us. And they have called that Christianity. And a lot of it is not Christianity. A lot of it is just showmanship. Showmanship. Because the principles that they teach you, if those principles were genuine, then you should have the same kind of success as they have. The same kind of success. Any boy anywhere can just start a church anywhere. And then the next minute he's calling himself an apostle. He's calling himself a pastor. He's calling himself a prophet. And he's never worked anywhere. He's never read any book anywhere. No professional exposure. Nothing. And he's going around controlling people. And because the content, the quality of knowledge of the African is still weak, he has a lot of following. And once in a while you get 1 out of 1,000 who come and just say that because of this, because of that, because of this, and then they say amen. But they have turned us into animals. They have turned us into slaves. If you look at the environment, and you look at the things that produce prosperous countries, prosperous environment, those are not the things that we are seeing. How can people spend all their lives with the same level of understanding of life? There's no innovation, there's no creativity, there's no understanding, there's no diligence, they don't read anything. And you believe that these people will progress in life. How is it going to happen? Just because you have prayed for them. And so they create fear. It's a fear. So you can decide you can decide not to live in this kind of fear that they have created for all of us. The moment you say that, no, I am bigger than this kind of fear that they have put in us. And sometimes you will not even know that you are living in the fear that they have created for you. Sometimes you will never know. But once you start to get the awareness that this fear they created in us, so that if I create any fear for you, I can control all your life. Because the fear is just depending on the level of ignorance that you have. And so you believe that if you're going to Kumasi, they have to put some anointing oil on you, or you get an accident. You believe that. So they did not even teach you how to drive well, how to relax, how to plan well. They never teach you that. Just that they have prayed for you, so everything is all right. And you believe that. So become powerless. So that's why when you have a situation, you just have to call somebody who you think has more power. So it's a fear. They created that fear of death. So you dreamt and you were going to die and say, hey, if they don't come and cast out that demon out of you, you will die. So you also pack your life and go. They created that fear that you are going to be poor all your life until you come to give them money, or you come to give them, they prayed for you. And it's a fear that you have created for you. You can choose to live in it all your life. You can choose to say that, no, I won't live in this kind of fear. They have created a fear they can control you, that the work of God is only in church. And you believe it. So when you go to work and you're a doctor, you don't even work well because you think that that's the work of the devil. It's never the work of the devil. It's the work of God. Whatever God has gifted you to do is your work to glorify God. Never believe that you just have to have a Bible and preach before what you're doing is for God. Some people have, they come to the office and say that, so when are you going to stop this business and become a pastor and do the work of God? You see the level of ignorance. So if all of us shut down the businesses and go and do the so-called work of God, who create the employment? Who create the product? Where would the money go? And then they go around to pray for the economy to grow. Do you need to pray for an economy to grow? No, because economy is out of result of productivity. Economy that is doing well is out of the results of the flow of the cash. You bring the people all bring the money to the church, they pack them, and then they are praying for the economy to grow. How is it going to grow? Economy will not grow until somebody is intelligent enough to understand how economy grows. An economy grows. An economy grows because of the fear, because of the flow of cash. Where the cash is going is where the economy is going to grow. And so there it is. So the programming, the understanding that they have given us, they have affected the way we think. So the next day they tell you that you are going to sick. They saw you with this kind of sickness, this kind of demon. You believe it. Decide not to live in this kind of control. You're going to get us there. No. The marriage is not going to work. If the marriage is not working, what do you understand about marriage? What do you understand about man? What do you understand about woman? What kind of finances do you have? So it's the level of knowledge that we have that is responsible for all the problems that we meet. And they told you that if you have problems, it means that the devil is there. So they have to pray and break all the demonic attacks so that you, Africans, and the demons are there, but they are not coming for you personally. The demons, their major work is to make sure that people don't come to Christ. It's not you and your business. They don't care about your business. They don't care about you and your health and those things. No. I think that with quality knowledge, quality understanding, quality way of you knowing how things are done in this life, there's a lot of prosperity that you can enjoy. Forget about demons coming for you. Most of them are not looking for you. If the thing is not working, go and sit down and study it. Stop living in fear. Stop living the way most of these people who are telling you God. They should be telling us God. God is light. God is love. God is wisdom. God is understanding. God is life. God is clarity. That's what I understand about God. It's not the death and the failure and the poverty and sickness and the accidents and the divorces and the cases. Those are not God. That is something else that they are trying to tell us that is Christianity. It's not. It's not. But it's tough for the African to understand this. Why? Because he was born into it. So there's a particular way that this thing we call spiritual life was painted to us. And so all our people live in fear. Live in fear of not disagreeing with what is obvious not working. It's so obvious that they are lying to you, but you are fearful to challenge it because you don't want to offend God. And as long as we have this fear going on, so long as we have this kind of pattern of life, our success will not be great. Our success will be truncated. Because you're living out of fear. And you don't become great living out of fear. you become great living out of the liberated life that you have, out of the self-esteem that you have, out of the convictions, the courage, the faith that you have. When your decisions are coming out of that, that's why you become successful. When your decisions are coming out of the fear, you don't succeed. You don't succeed. And yet that's the program that they have given us. So people are not going to succeed because all their choices are coming out of the fear. They don't want to fear. They don't want to get outside. They don't want to, it's fear because of the content and the quality of knowledge that they have given you. And you call it Christianity. That is not Christianity. That's something else for somebody else to benefit on your livelihood. To benefit because they have programmed you that way so that you can keep on coming to them. It's amazing how it has been done. And all of us, we were in it because we were born into that. So we never felt like we had the power to decide the course of our lives. We have that power to decide the course of our lives. We have. If you don't have, then why should anybody judge you? Then why should you live with the consequences? So don't just live thinking that the accident will just happen one day and just kill you. Don't believe that. Don't believe that your business will just collapse without you. If you're doing the right things, the business is not going to collapse. If you're learning, if you're progressing, you're going to succeed. It's not just going to go bad in spite of all the things that you're doing until somebody else prays for you and protect you and have divine power. No, those are not really right. Because most people have built wealth without those people praying for them. People have built billions of industries around the globe, and they were not being prayed for by these guys who are trying to control everything that is about your life. So they have turned the Africans into their cash cow, into their machines, into their slaves. So you are talking to somebody and say that, listen, can we do this? Oh no, I want to go and ask my prophet first. That's why we are not succeeding. Because there is always cause and there is always effect. There's always a cause to something and there's always effect to something. And so it's not really that things are not working. It's because you've been programmed with a lot of fear. So it's your decision to jump out of this fear and to live the boldness of life, to live, get clarity, continue to grow in your understanding, in your knowledge. Liberate yourself out of these controls. You sure if you're a young girl who is always going to this prophet for direction and prophet for direction, how many books have you read? How many things have you studied? Can you take time to build yourself the knowledge, the understanding? If you want money and you want your business to grow, sit down and study the business. Grow your knowledge, grow your understanding. That is where the victory is. It's not you chasing one person from the other for prayer every day. You're going for prayer camp to another camp to another camp. When we were children, they were doing the same thing. They have not changed the economy. It's not made any. I've not seen any billionaire anywhere in Ghana who was going from one program to the other, 109 to 109, and be prayed for. It's not working. So don't waste your time with that. Commit to your work. Become diligent. Become honest. Plan. Go for knowledge. Go for seminars. Study. Build yourself. Forget about what they are trying to tell you. Most of them, they tell you that so that you can keep coming to them. They tell you that you'll not go to heaven if you don't come to church. They have destroyed us. That's why people live in fear. The level of mistrust is so high because people live in fear. So make a decision not to live in fear. Make a decision not to live in fear. Let no man control you by the prophecies and the teachings that they do to all of us. Stay out of the fear. That's the only way you are going to succeed. And succeed peacefully. And succeed peacefully. Because they take advantage of the situation. People are poor. People are desperate. That's why they take advantage of them. I don't know teaching the same thing to the richest in the world. Because they know better. They know that a lot of the things that you're teaching, they are not true. If you want to succeed in this life in terms of finances, you build them yourself. You build the success yourself because it's open. Christ has made those available. He has become wisdom to us. So why should another person be controlling your wisdom all the time? I don't understand it. The spirit of love, of power, and of sound mind. He's given us the spirit of love, of power, and sound mind. I don't understand why these things have been given to the Christian and they're still looking for something else. I don't understand. He's giving us power, love, and and he's still going from one prayer camp to the other for what? So difficult. So difficult. And this is one of the major shackles on the African. Major shackle, because the belief system is so difficult for you to tell him that he's been liberated and is responsible for his life, that he cannot just die anyhow. And the fact that you saw somebody die does not mean that it's true. They are just responding to the fear that they have put in them. If you call a young girl to say that you're going to die and the girl has no better knowledge, she will die. She will die because she has no better knowledge. And so somebody that she respects has told her that she will die. She will die. But if that girl had proper understanding, proper knowledge, proper way of looking at life, she will not die like that. So it's the level, they take advantage of the level of your exposure, the level of the quality of knowledge that you have. And it's not they even know it. They also don't know it. A lot of them, it's not that they are crafty. They were also appropriating just about this. They even think that what they're doing is right. But when we look at the results, what you're doing is not right. What we're doing is wrong. When you're trying to control people out of fear, it's wrong. And so, develop yourself. Don't let the situations around you become desperate. Say that you just run into somebody for direction, for prayers, for anointing water, and all those, for business success, for whatever. There are a lot of things that are within your control. Because even if they give you the capacity of your thinking, you will be responsible for the sustenance and the multiplication of it. The intelligence that you have, the wisdom that you have, will be responsible for the sustenance. If anybody gives you anything, you cannot grow it until you have the capacity to grow it, until you have the understanding to grow it. So you are not developing yourself, you are not jumping from this is because of the fear. They put that fear in all of us. So decide not to live in that fear. Don't live in that fear of death. Don't live in that fear of poverty. Don't live in that fear of failure. Don't live in that fear of not going to heaven. Don't live in that fear of disagreement. Don't be afraid of disagreement. If you have to question something, question it. Don't be afraid of living in sickness. Don't fear accidents. They don't just happen. Accidents don't just happen. They are orchestrated. They are response to our choices. You know, bad marriages don't just happen. They are response to the things that we did and those that we did not do. So I would rather go for the quality knowledge, the quality way of doing things, and then I will get the results that I so desire. You know, it's not familiar someone spraying somewhere trying to kill you. No. If the family has trouble, go and look for it and study it. And if your career is having trouble, go and look for it. Go and look for the reasons why the career is. What's the level of the knowledge that you have? A lot of people, the level of knowledge that they have when they were 10 years is the same kind of knowledge that they have in terms of productivity, in terms of finances, in terms of how to handle issues, in terms of how to plan and focus. A lot of people don't even read any book at all. They are 20 years, they are 40 years, and they have never read one quality book. Not. It's always the entertainment, the football, the drumming, the dancing, and then they complain that they are not succeeding. How would you succeed? Because success is a derivative of knowledge, of quality knowledge. The intensity of light that you have is responsible for the clarity. How well you see is the intensity of the light that you have. How well we perform in this life is the intensity of the knowledge that we have. And so you don't bother reading anything at all. You're doing business and you don't read one book a week or a month, and you so believe that you're going to succeed. You don't train anywhere, you don't listen to anything, you don't watch anything, you're not going to succeed. That's the fact, until you steal. And when you steal, it's a wrong foundation that you're building. You know? So a lot of things in this life, when it has to do with life on this earth, a lot of them are within our control. So don't let anybody control you with the fear. And don't live in the fear of any of this. A lot of them are within our capacity. The level that we control in any of this, whatever happens in our life, a lot of them are just stemming out of the wisdom, out of the knowledge, out of the understanding, out of the clarity that we had. So the results that we are seeing, they reflect the quality that we have. Much of it is not coming from any devil. The devil somewhere, let him be there. But God is also somewhere. What makes you think that the devil can easily kill you and that God will not save you? It's because of the programming. It's because of the understanding that we have. This is what they told us about what God is, what spirit is, what success is. All those things are responsible for the level of success that we are enjoying now. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Kwabena. The Africans, we have a long way to learn some things. And so don't live in fear. Don't be fear-driven. Not by yourself, and don't be driven by another person. If you are meeting any challenge, study the challenge well. Don't let anybody take advantage of your desperation, of your poverty, of the challenges that you have. Don't go to any place where they just want to treat you like an animal. If you go to any place, they should treat you with respect. They should treat you with dignity. They should not just talk to you like you're nothing. Because we are all made in the image of God. And most of these people who are trying to promote these ideas, they control us. They don't even give us any respect. They don't respect our intelligence. They don't respect our choices. They don't respect anything about us. And yet we so much respect a lot of these people. You are human. To keep your dignity. Nothing is going to happen to you unless you live in that fear of it. It's because what you are afraid will come. All right. So if you are building anything, just be patient and continue to build your life. You will succeed. You will succeed. Even if you have to fail 10 times or 20 times, continue at it. You will succeed. That's life. People who have succeeded majorly, go and ask them. These are the things that they have dealt with all their lives. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you, and let's talk next time. Thank you very much.